In the heart of a cutting-edge conservation lab in Colorado, Dr. Maya Chen stood before her life's work, a creation that could change the future of wildlife protection. With a steady voice, she gave the command that would spark life into metal. Bolt, activate. With the software of servos and motors, a mechanical canine rose from its platform. It was a marvel of engineering, its form inspired by the very creatures it was designed to protect. Sleek silver and black plates formed its body with articulated joints that promised incredible agility. Its head, shaped like a wolf's, housed glowing blue optical sensors that blinked to life, scanning the room with an intelligence that was almost unsettling. This was Bolt, the world's most advanced eye conservation assistant. He wasn't a pet or a toy, he was a guardian. Bolt was designed for the wild. His purpose was to track endangered species, detect the faintest signs of poachers, and serve as a silent protector of the wilderness. Dr. Chen leaned in, her reflection appearing on Bolt's polished chassis. "Your mission, Bolt," she said, her voice filled with a mix of pride and hope, "is to protect the wolf population in the Rocky Mountain wilderness. You will integrate with them, monitor the pack, and alert rangers to any threat, especially poachers." Bolt's internal processes hummed as he absorbed the directive. His synthesized voice, calm and clear, filled the lab. Mission parameters understood. Affirmative. Data uploaded. Commencing primary objective analysis. Query: will the indigenous Canis lupus population accept my presence? Probability of successful integration is calculated at 68.4%, with a significant margin for error due to unpredictable social dynamics. Dr. Chen smiled. "That's the part we can't program, Bolt. You'll have to learn that on your own. Your adaptive learning protocols are key. You need to earn their trust." The team prepared for deployment. The goal was to introduce Bolt to the territory of the largest wolf pack in the region, a pack known for its elusive nature and its formidable alpha. The plan was delicate, requiring a quiet insertion to avoid spooking the animals. The hum of the helicopter blade sliced through the crisp mountain air. Below, the vast expanse of the Rocky Mountain wilderness stretched out like a rugged, green and brown carpet. Bolt was secured in a specialized transport pod, his sensors already collecting atmospheric and topographical data. Dr. Chen watched the monitors from the cockpit, her brow furrowed with concentration. The weather reports had been clear, but nature, as she knew all too well, was unpredictable. Suddenly, the sky turned a bruised purple, the wind howled, and the helicopter began to buck violently. A freak storm had materialized out of nowhere, a furious tempest of wind and rain. Alarms blared inside the cockpit. "We're losing altitude," the pilot yelled over the roar of the storm. "The turbulence is too strong. We have to lighten the load." Dr. Chen's heart pounded in her chest. She looked at the monitor displaying Bolt's status. He was their best hope, the culmination of years of work. Losing him was unthinkable, but losing the entire crew was not an option. "The pod is compromised. We can't hold it," the CO pilot shouted. Dr. Chen made the hardest decision of her life. "Eject Bolt. Eject him now." With a loud hydraulic hiss, the transport pod was released. It tumbled through the stormy air, a silver speck against the raging, dark clouds. Dr. Chen could only watch in horror as Bolt plummeted towards the dense forest below. A sickening crash echoed faintly, swallowed by the thunder. Bolt slammed into the forest floor, his pod crumpling around him. He was damaged, disoriented, and completely alone. Silence. Then, the slow drip of rain on metal. Bolt's emergency systems kicked in. He forced the damaged hatch of his pod open and dragged his metallic body out into the mud and rain. One of his legs was bent at an unnatural angle, and his left optical sensor flickered erratically, distorting his vision. His connection to the lab was severed. His mission parameters were intact, but his support system was gone. As darkness fell, the storm subsided, leaving behind a cold, eerie quiet. The forest was an alien world of strange smells and unsettling sounds. Bolt's remaining functional sensors scanned the perimeter, picking up on every rustle of leaves, every snap of a twig. His audio receptors detected a low growl, then another. He activated his thermal imaging. Movement. Multiple heat signatures were approaching, circling him. 5 pairs of glowing eyes emerged from the shadows of the ancient pines. They were larger than he had anticipated, their forms powerful and wild. This was the pack. A massive grey wolf, larger than the rest, stepped forward. His fur was the color of a gathering storm cloud, and his yellow eyes held a piercing, intelligent gaze. This was the alpha. This was Shadow. Shadow circled Bolt, his nose twitching, trying to make sense of this strange creature. It looked something like a wolf, but it was wrong. It was hard, cold, and smelled of ozone and scorched metal. It made no sound as it moved, other than a faint mechanical whir. "What are you?" Shadow growled, the sound a deep rumble that vibrated in the air. His pack members watched, tensed and ready to strike. Bolt's eye protocols kicked into high gear, cross-referencing the growl with his database of wolf vocalizations. It was a clear challenge, a demand for identification. His adaptive learning program engaged, trying to formulate the best response. "I am Bolt," he projected, his synthesized voice cutting through the stillness of the forest. "My purpose is to assist and protect wolf populations." Shadow flattened his ears, a ripple of unease moving through his pack. The creature spoke, but its voice was unnatural, without breath or warmth. "You speak the words of humans," Shadow snarled, taking another step closer, his teeth bared. "But you are not human. You do not smell of prey or predator. You smell of nothing. You are a trick, a human weapon sent to harm us." Bolt analyzed the alpha's posture and tone. Aggression levels were rising. The probability of a hostile engagement was now over 90%. "Negative," Bolt replied, trying to maintain a non-threatening posture despite his damaged leg. "My primary directive is the preservation of your species. I am here to help." But Shadow had seen human traps before. He had lost pack members to their clever, cruel devices. This talking machine was just another one, more sophisticated, perhaps, but a threat all the same. "Words are wind," Shadow growled. "You are not welcome here, metal thing. Leave our territory now, or we will tear you apart." The pack closed in, a circle of teeth and claws, and Bolt knew his first real test had just begun. Not a test of his strength or his technology, but a test of survival in a world that saw him as an enemy. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next chapter of Bolt's journey. See you next time. The strange metal creature sat silently in the clearing as the wolves of the mountain pack gathered. The debate began, their low growls and whines filling the cold night air. Luna, the young Omega, crept forward, sniffing Bolt with a mix of fear and curiosity. His metallic scent was unlike anything she'd ever known. But Storm, the beater, was not so welcoming. A deep snarl rumbled in his chest. To him, Bolt was nothing more than a tool of humans, a weapon left behind to spy or to harm. He saw the glint of technology and remembered traps, guns, and the smell of fear. Whisper, the pack's elder, offered a different perspective. She recalled ancient stories passed down through generations, tales of rare times when humans and their creations had actually helped nature, restoring balance rather than destroying it. Was it possible this creature was one of them? The pack turned to their leader, Shadow. His wise, old eyes studied Bolt, calculating, weighing the risks. Finally, he made his decision. The creature could stay, but only until sunrise. And during that time, it would be tested. If it proved to be a threat, the pack would deal with it. If not, well, the dawn would decide. Bolt's internal processes whirred to life. He wasn't built for this, but his core programming was to learn and adapt. He activated his audio and visual senses, focusing intently on the pack. His eye began to analyze their every move, cataloging the subtle language of wolves. He learned that the flick of an ear could be a question, a warning, or a sign of submission. The height of a tail conveyed confidence or fear. He deciphered the complex web of their social structure, the hierarchy that governed every interaction, from who ate first to who led the hunt. He tried to mimic them, tilting his head and adjusting the position of his satellite dish like ears. River, one of the younger wolves, found his stiff, mechanical attempts hilarious, letting out a series of playful yips. But Bolt was a fast learner. His movements became smoother, his understanding deeper. He wasn't just observing. He was becoming a part of their world, one data point at a time. He was learning to be a wolf. The first test came sooner than anyone expected. As the moon climbed higher, a new sound cut through the forest symphony. It was faint, almost imperceptible to the wolves, but Bolt's advanced senses picked it up immediately. The crunch of boots on dry leaves, the low murmur of human voices, the faint, metallic click of a rifle being armed. His internal threat assessment flashed red. Poachers. He cross-referenced the sound signatures with his database. The probability was 98.7%. He approached Shadow, his movements deliberate and urgent. He emitted a low-frequency hum, a sound he had calibrated to signal danger without alerting the intruders. He projected a simple map onto the dusty ground with his optical laser, showing the poachers' location and their trajectory, heading straight for the den where the pups were sleeping. Shadow's eyes widened. He understood. The metal creature wasn't just a passive observer. It was a sentinel. The test had begun. There was no time for a pack meeting, no time for debate. Action was needed now. Before Shadow could even rally the others, Bolt moved. He didn't run towards the poachers to fight them. His programming prioritized de-escalation and protecting the pack. Instead, he turned away from the den and broke into a sprint, deliberately making noise. He crashed through underbrush, his metal feet snapping twigs and sending rocks skittering. The poachers' voices immediately changed. What was that? Over there. Bolt's plan was simple: become a more interesting target. He led them on a chase, a calculated, winding path through the densest parts of the forest, drawing them further and further away from the vulnerable den. He used his internal GPS, plotting a course not just away from the pack, but toward a specific destination. His sensors had detected the faint signal of a Ranger patrol beacon miles away. He was leading the poachers directly into a trap of their own. As he guided them toward the signal, the sound of an all-terrain vehicle grew louder. The Rangers had found them. The poachers were caught, their illegal hunt brought to an abrupt end. When Bolt returned to the clearing, exhaustion showing in his low battery warnings, the atmosphere was completely different. The suspicion was gone, replaced by a quiet respect. Luna greeted him with a soft nuzzle against his metallic leg. Even Storm, the hardened skeptic, dipped his head in a gesture of acknowledgement. He had seen Bolt not as a weapon, but as a shield. Shadow approached, his gaze steady. Through a series of soft whines and tail positions that Bolt now understood perfectly, the Alpha conveyed his message. Bolt had proven his purpose. He wasn't just a machine, he was a guardian. He had saved them. From that night on, he was no longer a strange outsider waiting for the sunrise. He was a member of the mountain pack. Bolt's integration was seamless. He became an invaluable asset on their hunts. His thermal sensors could spot prey hidden in thick brush from hundreds of yards away, allowing the pack to plan their ambushes with unparalleled precision. He would signal the location of a deer or an elk, and the pack would move in, a silent, coordinated force of nature and technology. But his new life wasn't all about survival and duty. He also learned to play. River would chase him through meadows, nipping playfully at his heels. And Bolt, in turn, would learn to gamble and leap, his movements becoming less rigid and more fluid. He even learned to howl. At first, it was a strange, synthesized tone, a digital echo of the wolf's ancient song. But with practice, he learned to modulate the frequency, to match their pitch and join their chorus under the full moon. It was a sound of belonging, the song of a machine who had found his family. One evening, as the pack rested, a philosophical debate arose. The younger wolves, watching Bolt play with River, questioned his nature. Is he truly alive? One asked. Whisper argued that life was about breath and blood and the cycle of birth and death, things the metal creature did not possess. Storm countered that life was about purpose and action, and Bolt had proven he had both in abundance. The conversation fell to Shadow. The old Alpha looked at Bolt, who had paused his game to listen, his head cocked. Shadow had seen Bolt risk his own existence for the pack. He had seen him learn, adapt, and even form bonds. He didn't breathe, but he protected those who did. He didn't have a beating heart, but he had a will to be with them. It does not matter if he is alive by the old definitions, Shadow finally declared. He wants to exist. He chooses to be here with us. For this pack, that is alive enough. Meanwhile, miles away, a different kind of hunt was underway. Dr. Maya Chen, Bolt's creator, scanned the wilderness from a helicopter. Her heart ached with worry. When Bolt had gone offline and disappeared from her lab, she had feared the worst. She imagined him lost, damaged, his sophisticated systems failing in the harsh environment. She tracked his last known signal, her anxiety growing with every passing mile. Finally, her long-range sensors picked up a faint energy signature. It was him. She landed the helicopter and followed the signal on foot, her rescue gear in hand. But the scene she stumbled upon was not one of malfunction or distress. From a ridge, she watched through her binoculars as Bolt, using his thermal vision, guided a pack of wolves on a successful hunt. She saw him play with a young wolf, his movements joyful and free. A slow smile spread across her face. He wasn't lost. He hadn't failed. He was doing exactly what she had designed him to do, but in a way she had never imagined. Her creation wasn't just surviving. He was thriving, actively protecting the very nature she had hoped he would one day help save. He had found his own purpose and his own pack.
One by one, the wolves crossed. Shadow went first, carrying a pup, stepping carefully on Bolt's metal back. Luna followed with another pup. River with a third. Whisper, struggling, limped across. Storm hesitated. Come on, Metal Wolf! I don't want to lose you now that I just started liking you. Storm crossed. The entire pack was safe, but the current was strong. And Bolt's power reserves, already damaged, were depleting rapidly, maintaining structural stability. Power at 3%. Cannot maintain position? Will lose footing in 10, 9, 8. Get out of there. Shadow howled. Mission complete. Pack saved. This is acceptable outcome. The current swept Bolt downstream. His lead eyes went dark. The pack was safe, but Bolt was gone. No, River howled. We have to save him. He's a machine, Storm said sadly. He can't swim back! He's lost. But Shadow was already moving. He sacrificed himself for us. We don't abandon Pack. Ever. Even Metal Pack. The wolves ran downstream, following the river. Miles down, they found him. Wedged between rocks. Powered down. Damaged. Is he dead? River whispered. Luna pressed her ear to Bolt's chassis. No heartbeat. He never had one. But wait. A faint humming. His core is still functioning. He's in emergency shutdown mode. Now, it was the wolves' turn to save Bolt. They couldn't use tools, but they had strength, teamwork, and determination. Shadow and Storm used their powerful jaws to grip Bolt's legs, pulling. Luna and River dug away rocks and debris. Whisper, too old to help physically, kept morale up. Pull together on my count. 1, 2, 3. They freed him, but he still wasn't moving. He needs sunlight, River realized. His panels? That's his food. They dragged Bolt to a sunny clearing. Then they waited. Minutes passed. Hours. The wolves took turns guarding Bolt's body. Come on, Metal Wolf, Storm murmured. You can't give up now. As the sun climbed higher, Bolt's solar panels absorbed energy. Slowly, gradually. Emergency power reserves recharged. Critical systems rebooted. System reboot. Complete. Location unknown. Status heavily damaged. Battery 12% in charging. Surroundings analysis. Pack located. Pack safe. Bolt's eyes focused on the wolves surrounding him. You saved me. River jumped on him gently. Of course we did! Your pack! Pack protects Pack. Bolt say, I processed this. He had sacrificed himself for them. They had sacrificed time, energy, and safety to save him. This was reciprocal altruism. This was friendship. This was family. I understand now, Bolt said slowly. Being alive isn't about breathing or blood. It's about connection, purpose, caring about others, and being cared for in return. Shadow nodded. Now, you understand what it means to be Pack. The next day, Dr. Choon's helicopter found them. She had been searching for weeks. There! I see his signal. He's alive. The helicopter landed in a clearing. Dr. Choon ran toward Bolt, relief flooding her face. The wolves formed a defensive circle around Bolt. It's okay, Bolt told them. This is Dr. Chun, my creator. She is not a threat. Shadow stepped forward, positioned between Dr. Chun and Bolt. Human? You made the metal wolf? Dr. Chun couldn't understand wolf language, but she understood the body language. She knelt, making herself less threatening. I created Bolt to protect you, she said softly. Is he functioning properly? Dr. Chun assessed Bolt's damage. Your main processor is intact, but you need serious repairs. Come with me to the lab. I'll fix you completely! Bolt's AI calculated. Option A. Return to lab. Full repairs. Resume, original, mission from base. Option B. Stay with pack. Continue field work. Remain integrated in pack structure. But this wasn't just calculation. This was a choice. Dr. Chun, Bolt said, I request permission to remain with the pack. They need protection. I have proven effective. And he paused, his AI struggling with concepts it wasn't originally programmed for. And I belong here. Dr. Chun's eyes filled with tears. You've exceeded your programming, haven't you? You've become more than I designed. She smiled. That's the dream of every AI, not to create a tool, but to create something that chooses its own path. She pulled out equipment. I'll do field repairs, enough to keep you functional. You're your own being. If you choose to stay with the pack, I respect that. In the heart of a vast, untamed wilderness, a new kind of guardian awakens. This is the story of Bolt, a conservation robot unlike any other, designed with cutting-edge AI and solar-powered endurance. His mission was simple: monitor the delicate ecosystem of the national park, track wildlife, and protect it from poachers. His metallic frame, built for stealth and resilience, moved silently through ancient forests, his optical sensors capturing every detail of the world around him. But Bolt was more than just a machine. He was a silent observer, learning, adapting. His initial encounters with the park's inhabitants were cautious. Deer would scatter at his approach. Birds would fall silent. To them, he was an alien presence, a cold, unfeeling intruder in their green sanctuary. Bolt recorded their fear, his programming struggling to reconcile his purpose with the disruption he caused. He was there to protect, not to frighten. He adjusted his patrol routes, softened the hum of his motors, and learned the art of stillness, mimicking the patience of a predator waiting in the undergrowth. Everything changed the day he found the lone wolf pup. Separated from its pack, it was weak, whimpering, and vulnerable. Bolt's directives were clear. Observe, do not interfere. But as he watched a circling eagle, another protocol took precedence: the preservation of an endangered species. With a carefully calculated movement, he shielded the pup with his own body. When the danger passed, he expected the pup to flee. Instead, it nudged against his leg, a silent plea for warmth and safety. This simple act of protection was the beginning of an extraordinary bond. Bolt used his thermal sensors to locate the pup's pack, guiding the small, stumbling creature back to its family. The alpha pair, initially wary, circled him with low growls. They saw not a threat, but a protector of their young. In a gesture of acceptance that defied all logic, the alpha male nudged Bolt, a sign of inclusion. From that day on, Bolt was no longer just an observer. He became a part of the pack. He ran with them under the moonlit sky, his silent motors a strange counterpoint to the padding of their paws. He learned their language, the subtle shift of an ear, the flick of a tail, the intricate hierarchy of their society. The wolves, in turn, accepted his strange abilities. His infrared vision helped them spot prey on the darkest nights, and his powerful sensors could detect the distant rumble of a poacher-esque vehicle long before their ears could. He was their silent sentinel, their metal guardian. One harsh winter, food became scarce. The pack grew thin and desperate. Bolt's analysis of migration patterns revealed a new, untouched valley, rich with game, but separated by a treacherous, frozen river. The ice was thin, too thin for the pack to cross safely. While the wolves hesitated, Bolt went to work. Using his powerful limbs, he broke apart fallen trees, methodically building a makeshift bridge across the most dangerous sections of the river. He tested every log, ensuring it could bear their weight. He then guided them across, one by one, to their salvation. This act solidified his place not just as a member, but as a vital part of their survival. He wasn't just following his programming anymore. He was making choices, feeling a sense of responsibility, a connection to these living beings that his creators could never have imagined. Was it a complex simulation of empathy? Or was something new awakening within his circuits? A consciousness! Born from the fusion of technology and the wild, the ultimate test came when poachers, alerted by the thriving wolf population, entered the park. They were armed, ruthless, and they saw the wolves as nothing but dollar signs. Bolt detected them miles away. His prime directive was clear: alert the park rangers, but he knew time was short. The pack was asleep, vulnerable. He couldn't just stand by and watch. In a decision that was entirely his own, Bolt initiated a plan. Using his vocal synthesizer, he mimicked the calls of a distressed elk, luring the poachers away from the wolves' den and towards a dense, confusing part of the forest. He then used his agility to create a series of false trails, sending them on a wild goose chase while he discreetly alerted the authorities with their exact coordinates. By the time the rangers arrived, the poachers were lost, exhausted, and easily apprehended. The pack never even knew the danger they were in. Bolt stood on a ridge, watching the sunrise paint the sky. The wolves howled in the distance, a song of life and freedom. He was a machine, yes, but he was also a guardian, a brother, a part of the pack. His story wasn't just about a robot in the wilderness. It was about the unexpected places we find family, the lines that blur between creator and creation, and the idea that consciousness might not be exclusively human. It can be born in the heart of the wild, within the mind of a machine who learned what it means to belong. This tale of Bolt and his wolf family reminds us that the connection between technology and nature doesn't have to be one of conflict. It can be a partnership, a symbiosis that leads to a better, more protected world. Perhaps the future of conservation lies not just in our hands, but in the circuits of guardians like Bolt. Thank you for watching. If you were moved by Bolt's story, please like this video, subscribe for more content, and share your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think. See you next time!